Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to do a bar chart using Excel. Now if your data is in a format such as the one shown here, you will actually need to aggregate up before you're able to produce a bar chart. Okay, and so in the example I'm going to give, I'm going to show how you could determine how many cows were in each farm and then use that information to create a bar chart. Now I know from the information about the data set, and you've been provided with this information, that there are 2 farms in this data set. If I wasn't sure at any point, I could just select those, go to filter and click down there, and I would know that there were 2 farms. Okay, this is important because I'm going to use something called the CountIF function. So what I'm going to start by doing is just putting some markers on the spreadsheet so that I know what these random functions are when I come back to it. So this will be farm, this will be number of animals, and I'm going to say 1 and 2 because they're the numbers. So I'm going to use a function called the CountIF function. A reminder, if you don't remember the syntax for a function, you can go up and use the insert function, and you could type in a description of what you want to do and see what comes up, but I do know how to use this function, so I am going to just type the syntax straight away. So I'm going to say count if, open the bracket, select the range, and I'm going to select the entire column. Again, I do that because if I added more data to this at a later point, then these would automatically update. And I'm going to say what criteria it has to meet, and it has to equal this value here, and close that function. So now I also copy that function down, and it works fine with a copy because my reference is for an entire column, so that doesn't change, and I want it to reference that number there. So now I know that I have one farm with 58 animals and one farm with 57 animals, so I am ready to create my chart. So I go and I select those. I say insert, and I'm going to want this sort of chart, and it comes out and it doesn't look like what I expected. Okay, and that's one of the sort of annoyances with these column charts. We will end up often having to do a bit of edit. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to go to the Select Data tab, and so this is going to tell me what my data is, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to edit series 1, and I'm not going to give it a name because I only have one series, but you can see it's looking across there. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to say I want you to graph those numbers. Okay, now series 2 is no longer needed, so I'm going to remove that, but I've still got these funny names, so I'm going to edit, and I'm going to say no, the label for those values belongs there, so farms 1 and 2. Now I'm going to say okay, and look, my chart is as it should be. Now remember, we like to tidy these up, so I'm going to delete the title. I'm going to delete these lines as well because they shouldn't be on a graph. I'm going to remove the series because in this case we only have one set of observations, so it's not important. And it probably is useful to add some titles, so I'm going to say farm and number of animals. And I've also got this issue here with the axes not displaying properly, so I'm going to just click on it so that I can open the format axes, and you can see I've got a line, it's gone automatic, which is none, and I'm going to say give me a solid line, and I'm going to pick a grey color there. Okay, and so now that looks presentable.